Dear friends, on this occasion of the Sesquicentennial celebration of the Apostolic Carmel congregation, I would like to share with you a brief account on the life of Venerable Mother Veronica, our founder, and the journey of 150 years. The Apostolic Carmel is a Marian congregation. Therefore, all that is beautiful and to be cherished in the Apostolic Carmel is summed up in Mary, Queen of Carmel. Significantly, the congregation was founded on 16 July 1868 on the feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Mother Veronica, née Sophie Leaves, was born in a pious, cultured, English Anglican family. Her father was an Anglican pastor. She was gifted with singular talents of mind and heart, which was nurtured by sound education and wide experiences of life. She inherited from her parents a personal love for God, care and concern for His people, commitment to the truth, and great appreciation for spiritual things. In spite of her mother's strong opposition, she embraced the Catholic faith when she was 27. What attracted her to Catholic Church was the living presence of Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. God took possession of her heart so powerfully that she first broke her engagement to a Marine officer, Kenneth, whom she loved dearly, and then responded generously to the call of religious life. At the age of 28, Sophie entered the congregation of St. Joseph of the Apparition, taking the name Sister Veronica of the Passion. Sister Veronica was ardent and full of zeal to work for the mission in India when she was sent to Calicut in 1862 to take charge of the newly opened convent and school of St. Joseph's as superior and headmistress. It was here in Calicut she met the Carmelite Bishop Mary Ephraim, under whose guidance she discovered her vocation to be a Carmelite and eventually to found a third order regular of active Carmelites to assist in faith formation through education of young girls of the west coast of India. After receiving the required permission from Rome, Sister Veronica painfully left her congregation of St. Joseph of the Apparition to enter the Carmel of Pau, France. After facing many hardships in a relentless search for God's will, she founded a formation house of the Apostolic Carmel at Bayonne in France, where she prepared a band of young girls and sent them to India. These three pioneering Apostolic Carmel sisters, along with three cloistered Carmel sisters, landed on the shore of Mangalore on 19th November 1870 and embarked on the mission of the empowerment of girl children through education. This is the day we celebrate today. It's a day immortalized in the history of Mangalore. In the 1870s, Mangalore was a large village and part of British India. It was an era where there were absolutely no modern conveniences such as roads, electric lights, and efficient system of transport. The only means of travel available to the public were bullock carts and a few horse-drawn carriages. It was also a time when typhoid and malaria were rampant and deadly. The plight of girl children and women were undesirable as they were thrice subjugated, deprived of education, and married while they were still in their early teens. The Hunter Education Commission noted that in 1881, only 0.2% of the women of this part of India were literate. It was God's design that at this time of history, the Apostolic Carmel sisters should arrive and venture into female education as the first step to modernization and societal upliftment. They vowed to provide literacy as the foundation of the growth and progress of society. Mother Mary Desange, one among the three who arrived at Mangalore, India on 19th November 1870, was appointed as the first Superior General of the Apostolic Carmel congregation. She was destined by God to tend the sapling of that little seed from Bayonne, now transplanted in St. Anne's, Mangalore. She sailed through the rough storms and strengthened the foundation of the infant congregation for 40 years through prayers and sacrifices. Mother Elvisha, the second Superior General, stood at the pilot's wheel for 18 long years, laid sturdy bedrock for women's education, which is the main apostolate of the Apostolic Carmel congregation. The first school of the congregation was at St. Anne's, Mangalore. The impact of education on the lives of girls was so great that parents from different localities requested the management to open more schools in different places. St. Anne's Convent now served as mother house, and a number of schools were established in rapid succession in different corners of Mangalore. As the congregation grew in strength, more convents, more schools and colleges were established across the globe, namely India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Kuwait, Bahrain, East Africa, Rome, and Pau, France. Today, girls in their thousands continue to be educated in different parts of the world. Mother Elvisha, with her characteristic foresight, perceived the need for personnel to be trained to educate young women, started a teachers training institute as early as in 1890, the first of its kind in South India, and for many years the only teachers training institute which gifted hundreds of trained and dedicated teachers to facilitate the all-round development of girls in particular. But doubtless, the greatest contribution to women's education rests in the establishment of St. Agnes College in 1920-21 by Mother Elvisha A, the second Superior General. She realized that at this point in the world history, when women as wives and mothers held the destiny of the nation in their hands, they themselves ought to be molded by the ideals of life. With her contemporary thinking, she also desired the college to impart job-oriented education. St. Agnes College, the first women's college on the west coast of India and the first in the entire country, served to inspire the rest of the women of India who now aimed to receive higher education themselves. To serve their noble aspiration, 3 more colleges were founded: Patna Women's College, Bihar, Providence College, Kerala, and Carmel College, Goa. Research centers too were established. The continued need to have trained personnel gave birth to St. Anne's College of Education that has provided thousands of trained teachers to the whole world. The holistic training provided in these schools and colleges has inspired many young women to dedicate their lives to God and the service of society as religious sisters in the Apostolic Carmel, as also in several other congregations. Besides education, the Apostolic Carmel has catered to the needs of the marginalized of society and to less privileged children by building and running orphanages, social service centers, technical schools, schools and residences for differently abled children and adults, creches, health care and counseling centers, homes for the aged and the destitute, boarding homes and hostels, vocational courses, community colleges, and needlework and social welfare centers. The sisters have also adopted other ministries, institutions, programs, and causes in their parishes and its surrounding villages. These include prison ministry, self-help groups, rescue homes, adult education, and care for delinquents, to name a few. On this occasion, we gratefully remember Venerable Mother Veronica's heroic obedience to the will of God, her life of profound faith and prayer, her wholehearted commitment to the cross, her outstanding humility and zeal for the missions. Her life of loving surrender to God in challenging circumstances culminated in her holy death in 1906. 27 years an Anglican, 15 years a sister of St. Joseph of the Apparition, 6 months in the training, the Carmel of Paul, 5 years founder and guide of the Apostolic Carmel, and then the anonymity and silence of Carmel for 30 years till death. Such was the life of Mother Veronica, founder of the Apostolic Carmel. 150 years have passed after she sent her daughters to India, and today her work stands tall because it was built on rock. Her life and mission can be summarized in the motto of the congregation, God alone suffices. With bowed heads and folded hands, we sing the story of God's greatness manifested during these 150 glorious years. The Lord has called every apostolic Carmel sister to enjoy the heritage of Carmel, dedicate her life in his service to the church and the world, to be closely united with him in prayer and lead others, especially the youth, through education and inspire them to be compassionate citizens and honest leaders to bring peace into the world. On this occasion of the Sesquicentennial celebration of the Apostolic Carmel, we remember with love and gratitude all those who stood at the helm, the superiors general, the provincial superiors, the pioneering sisters, and every sister who have contributed in big and small ways towards the growth and progress of the congregation. We are grateful to all those who have collaborated in our mission, especially our family members, staff, students, parents, alumni, benefactors, friends, and well-wishers. We acknowledge with gratitude all services, temporal and spiritual, rendered by church leaders, especially our bishops and the clergy who have contributed to the growth and development of the Apostolic Carmel. Thank you, and God bless us all.